Hi everybody. In this third video, we're going to take the model that we made in Magic of Voxel of a man standing in T-pose and the animations that we downloaded from Mixamo, and we're going to bring them into Unity and use them. So those two things of data, they're here in this manual one folder on my desktop. And as you can see in here, all these FBXs are from Mixamo, and we have the OBJ and the PNGs from Magic of Voxel. But we're going to take the whole thing now, and we're just going to drag and drop it into our Unity project that we're starting off with. And inside of here, if I look, we have the files by name. So here we have two manual ones where they're standing in the T-pose position, and this one is OBJ. If you look right here, we want to use the FBX one that we got from Mixamo. So here's the FBX, and if I drag and drop it into my scene and just reset his position, everything, he's dead center, middle of our scene, manual one. Okay, and what is he composed of? He's composed of a mesh model here with the mesh renderer, and he also has the bones over here in the Mixamo org hips. And as the knee bone's connected to the shin bone or whatever, you have all the bones connected in a hierarchy all the way down to make the bones of him, the man. So up here at this level, at the top level, the man has something called an animator. And the first thing that's missing here is an animator controller. So even though this man is going to be able to be animated, you can't do it until you add a controller. So how do we do that? Let's go into the assets folder where we have the man and all his data. And I'm just going to right click and I'm going to add an animation controller. Okay. And this is the icon for animation controller. And then for the name of this animation controller, I'm just going to call it man anim controller. And then when I click on manual 1 in the hierarchy window, I could drag man anim controller to be the controller right there. So what is in this controller? Let's double click on it. And here in this panel, here where the scene was, it's going to bring up the animator window. I'm just going to shrink the game window a little bit. And I'm going to zoom in with the mouse wheel and try to drag and drop move around with the holding down the mouse wheel over here. The animation controller is a way that we could control which animation is going to play for our character. So the first animation we're going to take, all our animations from Mixamo, they're named with manual 1 at, and then the name of the animation that's there. This one's idle, and this one is walking. So first let's take the idle animation, and we're going to drag and drop it into the animation controller panel. And when you let go, you're going to see an orange button there with a line that goes from entry to idle. What this is going to tell Unity to do is to play the idle animation for our character. Now, that's great. I just want to zoom in on the character a little better so we can see what's going to happen. Let me just double click on him. There we go. Zoom in on him, and then I'm just going to set the camera to that position. Align with view. All right, there. And now I'm going to just leave the animation window open and zoom in so we can see the idle animation. I'm going to press play, and he should play the idle animation when I press play. And he is playing the idle animation. And then it looks like he freezes and he doesn't play the idle animation again. So that's because for each animation there's properties. So I'm going to look at the idle animation, and let's do it from over here, the actual animation. And here we could see that there's something called loop. So for the idle animation, I could set it to loop. And after it plays one time, it'll just start over and play again. So now let's press play with the loop set on. Oops, I forgot to press apply. Yeah, if you make a change to the animation, you do have to press apply. All right, so now there he is moving, and he should keep on moving, and it should loop over and over and over because we set the animation to loop. The other animation that we had downloaded from Mixamo was a walking animation, and that's this one right here. So just the way we dragged idle, we're going to drag man walking animation. Now when I drag this one in, it didn't turn orange. It's not the default animation. Okay, we got two animations here. We got walking and idle, and only one of them could be the default animation at a time. So right now it's idle. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change this to be the default one. And now this one becomes orange. And if I press play, let's see what happens. There he goes, he's walking, and then he stopped. And just like the idle animation, we're going to have to tell the animation by clicking on it and in the inspector window, putting on loop, so that when the walking animation plays and comes to an end, it starts over again. Okay, so once again, I just was, oh, don't forget to press apply at the button down there. So I remember I clicked the walking animation here in my assets window, and then up here in the inspector, the animation, I press loop, and then scroll down and press apply. And now let's press play and see what happens. So he's walking, and then the walk animation loops and continues on. So cool, our little guy is coming to life. Now the question is, how do I switch between the two animations when I'm playing the game? You know, I can't stop the game and switch the animation that's playing all the time. So what I'm going to do in the next video is we're going to write a script that shows how you could switch between idle and walking animation via a script that we're going to attach to our man. See you in the next video.